Hi, this is Dana Green Remedios, and you are on a Well Experience with Keisha Dixon, and I'm taking part in It Takes a Village, a lovely, experience where we all get to share our own knowledge with this group and share with you tools that we have learned along this journey called life that might aid you in some way. I am someone that likes to encourage others, coach others, share with others, and that's why I'm here. So thank you so much for joining me at home, whether it's live today or whether you're going to catch me on the replay. Thanks so much for joining, and thanks so much, Keisha, for having me here on your page. So if you've seen any of the videos that I've done on a Well Experience so far, I've talked a lot about these big macronutrients like, carbohydrates and fats and proteins. And you would think that I love talking about macronutrients, which isn't entirely true. So that's just a little insight into the way that I work. Is I'm much more interested, truth be told, in the quality of your food, whether you're eating enough plants in general, whether you're getting enough really cool plant-based phytochemicals, and on your lifestyle. Are you getting enough sleep on a day-to-day basis? Do you exercise and move your body? Are you a happy person? And if not, why not? We're all on a journey, and if you're not making your life better, if you're not spiraling upwards, are you spiraling downwards? And if you're not happy, are you taking the time to ask yourself why that might be and what you can do to affect your own happiness? I hope that you are, because my favorite juncture is between, food and happiness and lifestyle practices and happiness and how we can all really feel happier. I think contentment and feeling like you are making a difference in the world and that you're living your purpose is really what we're here for. It's really the greater reason why we're here. So if you agree with me at all and you're hoping to live your higher purpose and you're really wanting to bring your greatest self forward, then I would like to talk to you about whether or not you are using food right now to support you on that mission. Because if sometimes you get derailed, you feel depressed or tired or, too anxious to work on your mission, then that's something that we can address at least partially through lifestyle and diet. So attitude is first and foremost, the foundation of a happy, healthy life. So, you got to get your attitude dialed in for sure. But if you've seen my most recent videos, I've also talked about how food can affect your brain chemistry. And if you are a sugar-sensitive individual, as determined by, some of the questions in last week's video, you're definitely going to have to manage the sugar sensitivity to bring your best self forward and make an impact, a wonderful positive impact in the world. So sugar-sensitive people experience the opioid effects of sugar in a much more pronounced way than the average person. So the average person will feel the opioid effects of sugar as a rather pleasant sensation. But if you're the kind of person that just has incredible memories around cookies and your family and how your mother loves sugar and you love sugar and you enjoyed sugar together and all your best feelings come, connected to food, then you might really struggle with eating the way that you know is better for you. And you might feel like it's incredibly difficult. And it's not entirely your fault. This is your brain chemistry. This is what you were born with, and we can help. That's the good news. So you can certainly do something about it. And so to recap some of the wisdom shared in last time's video, I'm going to recap the 7 steps that are helpful if you think that you are one of these sugar-sensitive people and you'd like to reduce your sensitivity. So food journaling is number 1. Food journaling is number 1 really anytime you want to improve your nutrition choices. So hopefully you're keeping a detailed food journal. The second thing on our list was actually just to make sure that you're eating 3 meals a day at regular intervals, trying not to go more than 4 or 5 hours without a meal. Now, the third one is to eat and get vitamins. So if you're not eating all your vitamins, or you're not sure that you are, taking a multivitamin and mineral supplement for now is good insurance, just to make sure that you are, that you don't have any bottlenecks impeding your detoxification or certain processes in your body. And the next one would be to get enough protein, and I'll talk a little bit more about that finally today, because I haven't talked about that too much yet in detail. And the next one is to move your carbs from the sugary end of the scale towards the greens and veggies, leafy green end of the scale. So leafy greens are carbs, and pastries are carbs. You want to shift away from getting your carbs from sugar sweetened drinks, pastries and pastas, towards the other end, maybe through the complex carbs and grains, and towards getting more of your carbs from vegetables. And then you want to eventually reduce the sugar in your diet. So all the added sugars would be the next one to go. Thanks, Carolyn. This is really multi-purpose. You're going to be slowly eliminating sugar by following the steps in order, and you're not going to have a crazy rebound. And once you are actually reducing added sugars, the need and the cravings for sugars will diminish, and you don't need to completely quit fruit. You don't need to go crazy with it. You're going to be back in control, and that's really where you want to be. You want to not have to think about food so much. So we start with thinking about food like a lot, but the ultimate goal is to get to the place where it just happens, right? And we don't have to spend our energy thinking about food, so we can spend our energy, bringing our gifts to the world, right? So then you're going to set up a plan for maintenance. So I'm going to dig into some of these points a little bit more. I didn't want last week's video to end up, an hour long, but if we talk about what it means to get our vitamins, right? The vitamins that we're talking about, there are a lot of essential vitamins. There are also minerals that are really important if you have any kind of issues with your nervous system, any kind of, emotional imbalances. You probably are lacking in minerals. A lot of us are. And the things that we do when we're busy people, like drinking lots of coffee, actually deplete us more of our minerals, and stress depletes us more of the vitamins and minerals we need to deal with stress. So the more stress you have, the more stress you could get. And that's like I was talking about, an upward spiral of a positive life. You can also have a downward spiral of health or life, bringing your potential into the world. So we do want to keep that spiral, that energy going upwards in a positive way. So keeping yourself well nourished and getting all of the needed vitamins and minerals, if not through food, for now through supplementation, is really going to help you deal with this in a much more productive way. So the food journal, did you keep one? I'd love to know. Carolyn, if you've watched any of the videos of the last few weeks, if you've kept a food journal, I'd love to hear from you, because this, it's our favorite tool to find out what we really do. And, my partner, when I first asked him, to keep a food journal, because we weren't dating yet, and I was just going to do a consultation for him, and he said that in the week that I asked him to keep a food journal, he ate so much better, and he thought he was eating okay, but he noticed that he ate even better after I asked him to keep the food journal. So did you notice that you actually don't even eat 3 meals a day, perhaps? Or did you notice that you really don't drink water like you thought you did? Or that you're not eating as many vegetables as you thought you did? Because this is where you might notice that, you've got gaps in what you do, or maybe you just don't eat a balanced diet most of the time. Maybe it really is cereal for breakfast. So again, you can review the video from last week to find out if you should be eating more of a protein-heavy breakfast or a carb-heavy breakfast, or one that's perfectly balanced depending on your body chemistry. Oh, you do, but not consistently? Oh, you've been traveling. Yeah, it is super challenging to keep up in modern life with food journaling. There are some really good apps out there that can make it a little bit easier, but yeah, doing our best to write it down when we can. Even if you just get a few days in a row, it can be really eye-opening. So I really encourage everybody to do that. And thanks for sharing with us, Carolyn. So in terms of the brain chemistry, like we've talked about with beta endorphin and serotonin and how they affect our moods, and then how they affect our cravings and our self-control. It's really interesting to know that if you're low in beta endorphin, you don't have the self-control and you do have the cravings, right? MyFitnessPal, yeah, that's a pretty good one. That one's pretty good. It can break down a little bit what you're doing in terms of, you know, if you're meeting certain goals and stuff like that, and give you feedback, right? So I like that one too. I've used that one. I like that it's got so many foods in there already. Like it's got just so many entries for foods. Things have, the programs have come a long way. So in terms of your brain chemistry, if you have issues with low beta endorphin, you're going to naturally be drawn to sugar, because sugar boosts our beta endorphin. That's what it does. And so does alcohol. And so these are drivers for us. These are going to draw us to sugar and to alcohol. So we can boost our beta endorphin ourselves, and we can also keep it steady so that we don't feel the need to binge. And so getting regular exercise boosts our other endorphin levels up, which is great. And timing our carb and protein intake really helps. So I talked about before another brain chemical, tryptophan. So carbs and proteins work together because you need to have protein during the day to get enough tryptophan building up in your blood. But to get it to release, you actually need to end the day with just a little bit, just pure carbs, not even anything with protein. So believe it or not, if you're a depressed person, starting the day with more carbs in the morning, like a complex carbs with some protein, and then a balanced lunch, and then having a balanced dinner and a little snack at night with that are pretty much just carbs, can actually help you to release the tryptophan that you need, so that you're setting your brain chemicals on the road to being more positive, more cheerful. So that's something that we can try. What I really want to get into today is how much protein to eat. So I've mentioned before you need at least 0.4 grams of protein per pound of body weight, but that's really the absolute minimum. The common recommendation is 0.8 grams of protein. Now, I've already said I don't love counting calories. I've never counted a calorie myself. I think it makes us, go a little bit crazy to be tracking all of our food and all of our calories and all of our macros all the time. In the short term, it can be a great tool to gain information. But after a while, hopefully things become easier to do. That's why I like the Whole30 program, where you just use the measurements, like hand size measurements, to gauge whether you're eating, what you're eating, and if you're kind of eating a balanced diet. When it comes to protein, you might remember that I said that a portion is the size of your palm. The thickness and the size of your palm is a portion of protein. Now, if you've tried that and you're still hungry, if you've tried it and you're snacking on whatever is around uncontrollably, you need more food. So when I said that you do need a portion of protein, a portion of vegetables, maybe a portion of starchy carbs if you exercise, and a portion of fat the size of your thumb, that's a basic recommendation that needs to be tailored to you. So if you're hungry, you might need to add more fat, add another portion of everything. You love Whole30? Awesome. Yeah, it's really amazing for me to tell you that when the authorities in dietary recommendations reviewed Whole30. They didn't think that it was a healthy and sustainable program, but everyone I know that's tried it loves it, and I think it's incredibly healthy. And I personally love it, myself. So that's great. I'm glad that, you've had great success with it. It's great. Now, it is tricky if you are vegan. Like I'm allergic to potatoes. So there's a lot of potatoes in Whole30 as your starch source. So, it's not perfect for everyone, I guess is my point. But finding what works for you is really the goal, isn't it? So that's fantastic. In terms of knowing how much protein, that's what a food journal can be super good for, because a lot of the time a man will need to double the protein, more starch, more carbs, more fat, and women at certain stages in their life, depending on their activity level, are going to need to double the veggies, the protein, maybe not the starchy carbs, depending on what they're doing. Like we obviously, we hold weight more easily, and hormones definitely come into it. And another thing that comes into it is our ability to hold on to nutrients, and unfortunately also to hold on to other products that are in our environment. And you might have heard me mention the term last week, obesogen, which I'm referring to chemicals that we've picked up in our environment from BPA in the lining of cans, or from plastics that we used to use that hopefully we don't use anymore to store our food. They're even, the coating on receipts. When you go to the grocery store, the receipts are covered in BPA still. So BPA and its replacement, which is in a lot of products, and other chemicals like dioxins and phthalates, these are actually, at least in Europe, they're being recognized as factors contributing through no other mechanism other than physiologically. They're contributing to obesity. They're making it harder for us to control our weight. So eating a clean diet like Whole30, eating a clean diet like a vegan diet, eating a clean diet with just really clean, well-sourced, really consciously purchased, consciously grown, consciously sourced foods is one of the best things that we can do. And gentle detoxification is another thing that we can do to get these products out of our body. So luckily with some of these, like BPA, it's got a 6-hour half-life or a 6-hour life in the body. So if you're touching the receipt, it's going to be in your body for 6 hours. So if you don't shop till tomorrow, there's a window of time where it's actually probably left your body, but it can build up. And we can pass it to our kids through our breast milk, unfortunately. We can pass it to them. And these get stored in our fat. Yeah, I know it's a shocker, and I can see a lot of love, because it's nice to hear that you're not crazy and that you knew you were doing everything right, and it still seems really hard, right? And why is that? So because these are stored in our fat, there's a couple things about it. One, we want to detoxify, and our methods of detoxification are often removing the water-based toxins. We need to remove the water-based toxins and the fat-based toxins, the fat-soluble ones, because that's often where these lie, is in our fat stores, and we got to move them out. One of the reasons that I keep pushing getting at least a minimum amount of protein is that protein is actually an aid to detoxification. It's one of the things our liver needs to keep us detoxifying properly. Yes, our liver is set up to help us detoxify, but there are things that can get in the way. If we don't get enough vitamin A, if we don't get enough magnesium, iron, if we don't get enough sulfur, that's a big one. Luckily, there's lots of sulfur in eggs, so if you eat eggs, you can get it there. If you are vegan, then taking a supplement like MSM could be really helpful to get a source of sulfur. But basically, anything you can do to detoxify it's going to help you, and getting enough protein is just part of that. So really, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Really, I want to push you to do the food journaling. I want to see, I love the comments. I think it's really great. I want to get a discussion going. Like, let's compare. Like, for a time, I was eating like close to 3,000 calories a day people that were into calorie counting were like, how much do you eat? And I'm like, I have no idea. Oh, you should find out, and I was finding out, like, I am I was eating a crazy amount of food. But the amount of food that I was eating wasn't making me fat because my metabolism was revving, my liver was healthy, and I was burning it because I'm a productive person, so I was really busy, and I was burning it. I was probably just thinking so hard that I was burning it off. So my point is that you are unique, and find what works for you by listening to your body. There's a yoga teacher in New York called Beryl Bender Birch, and she, my sister likes to talk about how she recommends the PAD diet, the pay attention diet, and so that's what I'm going to pass on to you today. The pay attention diet. Please pay attention to what your body needs, how much it needs it, and definitely if you have questions and you want specific things answered, let me know in the comments, because I can talk about anything that interests you. If you want to know about supplements you can take that can help you with any particular problems you have, you can PM me and ask me anonymously, and I can also answer in the comments or answer in the next video for you. And yeah, so we can talk about all these other things that contribute to our weight, like our tired, toxic livers, and our gut health, probiotics, lack of probiotics, dysbiosis, all these things, and how that contributes. And that's another reason to eat your veggies as a source of starch, because they feed your probiotics. And we can talk about that more next week. So thanks for all the love, and thanks for joining me here today. And if you've got anything that you'd like me to talk about soon, let me know. Until then, make sure you're getting your 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, and that you're keeping a food journal, and at least eating 3 meals per day as a place to start, and drinking lots of water. And love you guys. Take care, and see you next week. Bye.